Hello everybody, we are here in Owasso at the Comstock cabin. Um, it is open today, so we are going to go in. You'll see nobody's working because I am volunteering to open it and work it. So look, a couple of dragonflies. It is muggy out here today, but let me see if I can get this whole thing. Elias Comstock was the first pioneer to erect a permanent residence in Owasso. He moved here in 1836. Comstock was a merchant, school teacher, justice of the peace, township supervisor, judge, and county clerk. This one-room structure was built for him in the mid-1830s. Though the cabin has been moved 3 times, the last in 1969, the original logs are still intact. It is now located just north of the Comstock home site. Fund raised by the Owasso Bicentennial Committee helps maintain the cabin and surrounding grounds, and that is the state historical marker. There's no address, I don't believe, for the cabin, so you're going to want to look up Kerwood Castle if you want to come. The castle is open daily, as in Tuesday through Sunday, from 1 to 5. They are not open like most of the things in the city of Owasso on Mondays. So if you come on a Monday, you're going to find a lot of things aren't open. Okay, so we are in the cabin now, and I think we're gonna go, we've come in the front door, we're gonna go to the left. And I'm gonna turn around. And I'm gonna actually make this bigger. And pardon my paper, pen, and modern cup. Like I said earlier, it is hot. Today is actually the last Sunday of June, which is Michigan Log Cabin Sunday. The Michigan legislature passed this law, I believe in 1997 is what I have in my head. And I apologize if that is wrong. When people think of log cabins, they don't think of Michigan. And a lot of people don't think necessarily of Owasso. So I am not going to read all of these. My eyesight's not what it used to be. I will read the top, and then I will stay on a few seconds and you can read it, which this one I already have. So it says merchant, school teacher, justice of the peace, township supervisor, and county clerk. And it mentions his wife Lucy, who, this is the Comstocks here. And then I'm gonna come over here. That is Judge Comstock sitting outside of his cabin. Nobody's quite sure what the date, but you can see he's a much older gentleman. And I can barely read this where it says United States of America, to all whom these present shall come greeting. Whereas Elias Comstock, I can't even read it, like after that. It says something county, Michigan, but it doesn't say Shiawassee. So maybe we'll have to scope in on that. But it says this contract authorized under the 1820 Land Act is for the sale of 150 acres and 21/100ths of an acre in what was to become part of Owasso to Elias Comstock, then of Oakland County. That doesn't look like Oakland up there, but it could be. And is dated 1837. It is one of 5 large plots that Elias purchased in 1837 in Shiawassee County. It is signed by President Martin Van Buren. And then All of this stuff that is in the cabin now, I believe was donated. I'm gonna back up. Excuse the event sign. I know it's peeling. They're really heavy. I thought they took them all out. I don't know my tripod with this, if I can really get in here to this. It says, secretary brought from, maybe it's bought by the, it came from Maryland and it actually belonged to the Comstocks. So this cabin actually, or cabinet, I call it cabinet, they call it a secretary, because it does open, actually belong to the Comstocks. Like I said, most of the stuff in here is donated by volunteers. So Lucy would have had something like this spinning wheel, and she would have made clothing. She probably knitted, crocheted, things like that, the clothing they needed. And then there is an upstairs. You cannot access the upstairs. That would be where all the kids were. But there is an upstairs, and I'm gonna show you as best I can. So here's they are very steep. It says stay off, but we have a tripod. We're gonna do our best. I don't know how well this is gonna turn out. With that, they got some stuff up there, but these steps are very dangerous. They just put electricity in here a couple years ago, maybe 5 now. I would say no more than 10. I apologize, I keep kicking the stand. So it says the year was 1829. 2 young men, both under 21, set out from Pontiac to explore the Shiawassee River. They were the brothers Alfred A.L. Williams and Benjamin B.O. Williams. As I tell people coming in, that didn't mean what it means today. So, and then it says the gatehouse. This gatehouse stood at the beginning of the mill race. The gate was raised and lowered to control the water flow as it entered. And then I believe that goes with the Dewey, would be my guess. Dewey and Stewart Mill. If you're familiar with Wausau, I don't know. I think I'm reading names off here. It says the Dewey and Stewart Flour Mill. Well, we have a Dewey Street, we have a Stewart Street, spelt the same. The mill was built in 1850. Near the end of the mill, the old site, where Daniel Ball. So Daniel Ball, I'm going to assume, is somehow related to our former state representative, former eye doctor here in town, who, the late Dr. Richard Ball. But I could be wrong. I believe some relation, I know it's 2, Dr. Ball, Adele Ball, has wrote some stuff on Shiawassee County. Here are the William brothers. And what was I doing the other day, and their names came up for another county. I deal with Oakland County stuff, Livingston County, Ingham County, Shiawassee, and Genesee. But their names came up in something, or at least Alfred's did. In something I was doing the other day, and it just made me smile. And then here is the 1857 map of Owasso. Now, I believe you can purchase this, but it's probably something you're really gonna have to search for. I think I'm a little crooked. All right, here we go. I actually have a better version of this than what this looks like, but it's bigger. And I believe it says Owasso in 1857, souvenir of the, I should have worn my glasses, compilation of Mathis, I believe it is, Stewart. And then I am not fluent in this, so I am just gonna, it's Chief Okamas. Like, that's where we're going with this. I believe if you, and I could be wrong, like, this is Chief Okamas. We know the city Okamas is Ingham County. So we're talking, this covered Ingham County this, I know Chief Okema stayed or was at what is one point called the Hotel on the Grand River Trail, which is now Grand River Road. And I'm going to span down. The book is what Denise, who runs Kerwood Castle, she is the docent over there, she put together about the cabin. So that, and I want to, because this reminds me of my dad, this cane here, and I don't want to pick it up because I love my lotion, and I'll put my dirty oils on there. Oh, I kicked it again, I apologize. But this is where they made their food. And you've got the washboard, you've got the pot, you've got a frying pan. Like, they got all their stuff here. Look at you coffee drinkers. Look at that little thing of coffee they probably had. I think there's I thought I saw an iron in here. Maybe it's somewhere else. But like, they could warm stuff here. Oh, that's what they made their coffee. They had to ground it. And then, like I said, I'm going to pan in on each one of these. So, well, like you'll see two here. I can't like read that small writing, but it looks like it's a tax deed. And what he titled the land book. So this is Amos Gould. Describes in detail land that he was interested in purchasing. Where is it? The little marsh on the northwest corner. River touches southwest corner. It still didn't tell me where it's at. So the Amos Gould house is across the river and down. It is a private residence. As of right now, there's no tours or anything like that. So this tells the story of Amos Gould, who was a judge, prosecuting attorney, senator, banker, railroad pioneer, explorer, timber baron, and the first mayor of Owasso. And then, so it talks about our railroad communities, the first national bank of Owasso. And so he is one of our founding, though a little bit later, fathers. So there's that on the chair there. That is the tool they use to tighten the bed. Here's the bed. And like, I'm gonna hand down so you can see the ropes. It was a rope bed. You know the saying, sleep tight. Tight means to tighten your ropes. Don't let the bed bugs bite, because they would have to shake the bugs out of the hay mattresses that they had. So, and you got your chamber pot, no indoor plumbing. And this would be where the parents slept, because the kids would be upstairs. If they had a baby, they would be in the cradle here. And she put like a doll in there to kind of give you a sense of, got some shoes. I doubt they had shoes for a long time until they were ready to walk, because shoes would have been expensive. We've got I don't, like, this stuff was donated, so I don't know who donated all of this stuff. I do know Denise, who runs the castle, has got a lot of this stuff for us. Like, she did her best. It's a work in progress on Lucy's knitting and crocheting. And then you've got the bench, you've got their tools. I had to stop, I had visitors, which is a great thing, but there's their tools, there's the front door, and we're back where we started. So I'm gonna turn around and focus on the dining room table. This is where they would obviously eat their meals. I'm gonna go back here further so you can see the table better, so it's not at a slant. All right, so this is where they would have their dinner. The kids would study, which the parents would teach them, and they would have church services right here. So this is the Comstock cabin. I'm gonna go out back to end this video so you can see the back side. And I apologize, like I said, for a couple modern conveniences we have in here. And here is the back. All original. So if you'd like to volunteer, call Kerwood Castle and ask for Denise.